For him supposedly being the fastest man alive, the DCEU's Flash is awfully slow. I mean, Marvel's Quicksilver could beat him. And I love Marvel. Obviously, I like Quicksilver. But even I am like, yeah, Flash would beat him. But I mean, you got to think about in how long it's taken this Flash to get here to the big screen. We've had another Flash come and go on the small screen after 9 seasons. Think about that. It's been that long that this movie's been in development, and it's had problems from directors to scripts to the stuff happening after the movie's already been filmed. I mean, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff. But the trick here is just ignore that, go in, and I just want to watch. I want to enjoy this movie. A lot of people are saying it's really, really good. Then there's some people complaining about things that I'm like, is that really a big deal? We'll see. The directors come out and said, oh, this was a choice with the visuals and stuff. But me, when it comes to superhero movies, as you can probably tell on my channel, I'm generally pretty easy to please. I just want to have a lot of fun. The trailers look like this movie's fun. Looking forward to seeing Michael Keaton back as Batman. Looking forward to seeing their version of Supergirl. Seeing what they do that's similar to the Flashpoint storyline. And admittedly, I lost interest in this movie. It was not in my top 10 until they dropped the trailers and we got to see all this stuff with Michael Keaton in it, and it shot back up into the top 10. So yeah, as you can probably hear, maybe it's raining, so it's a perfect weather to go out and enjoy this movie. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to it. I mean, I'm just not overly excited for Elemental, at least compared to other Pixar films. I mean, if I'm being honest, none of the Pixar movies recently have really gotten me really, really excited. If I'm really being honest with myself, gone are the days of Incredibles and Toy Story. I mean, Lightyear did, but that ended up being not. Hold on. Something doesn't feel right. It's not deja vu. It's not like I'm experiencing the same thing. But I feel like I should be talking about something else. I mean, I'm still at work. I thought I left work already. And Marvel shirt? I mean, that makes sense, but I mean, the biggest movie to come out this weekend is Elemental, right? Yeah, of course. It's not like there's another movie coming out or anything. I can't put it. I just can't figure out what's going on. It's almost like one small, somebody threw a rock in a pond and everything's changed. And God damn it, Barry! What? What? Barry went and fucked with the timeline again, didn't he? I'm sorry. Not to use bad language. I mean, he went and screwed with the timeline again. Oh well. I guess Flash isn't coming out now, and I guess I'm going to see Elemental. So for unedited reviews, this is The Flash. Wait a minute. I'm so confused. What's going on? I don't remember what I put in the middle of this. But how did I get... And I thought... Oh, God, it's like... Ugh. Buried! Thank you so much, Flash movie. Thank you so much, Michael Keaton, for making my wife crave spaghetti to the point that when we came out of the movie, I said, fine, I will make you a pot of spaghetti when we get home. Now, it wasn't a huge deal. It wasn't a huge problem since I did have some myself. So it wasn't that much of an effort for me. But point is, if you've seen the movie, you get the reference. If you haven't, you'll understand once you see it. But with all kidding aside, what did I think of The Flash? Well, it was good. I had a really enjoyable time with it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought the action was good. I thought the humor hit for the most part. I mean, I was laughing a lot. My wife was laughing a lot. I thought it looked good overall. Okay, yeah, let's just get this out of the way. The visual effects are not terrible. Now, one of the guys I was with said, yeah, he could notice this was problem, this was problem, didn't like how this happened, how this happened. But for me, I was like, you know what? I thought the visuals were fine. I was focused on the story. I was focused on the characters, that I really didn't think anything of the visuals. And I did buy the idea that, okay, what we're seeing, how we're seeing it, if it's blurry, if it's whatever, this is how Barry sees it when he's going super fast. And that was just how I pictured it. And I was perfectly fine with it. You know, I had no real problems with the visuals in this movie. Except for one. And yeah, this is one that a lot of people I think have mentioned. All I'm going to say is babies. Worst CGI in the movie. Dealing with babies. That's all I'm going to say. There were, thinking on it, there were one or two moments where I was like, okay, the visuals could probably have been worked on a little bit better here. There are some other big moments that it's like, if I really think about it, that probably could have been better, but I just contributed it to the situation and what was going on around it. So for me, I thought visually it looked fine. It looked good. I had fun with it. Nothing really took me out of the movie, again, except for babies. All I'm going to say. As far as the performances go, I thought everyone did a really good job. Well, I mean, there was one that was like, I don't know. But even the actors come out and said, yeah, I wasn't having the best time doing this. Ezra Miller, I thought they did a really good job in the role of the Flash. I admit, I had to turn my brain off, or I had to tweak my brain settings a little bit, because I'm so used to seeing Grant Gustin as the Flash that I had to just, mentally switch to be like, okay, this is a different Barry. It's not supposed to be Grant Gustin. Like, it just, like I said in the intro, 9 seasons of Grant playing the Flash, that's kind of what's ingrained in my brain. So I just had to mentally do a switch. But I think Ezra did a really good job. They were able to play both Barrys very differently, but at the same time, I feel like you could tell similarities between them, because yes, they're from different timelines, different things happen to them, and besides being the same character played by the same actor with the same face, you could still tell that somewhere this was the same Barry. That really all it was situations and things that happened. You can almost imagine our Barry maybe acting this way at one point. But with all of that, I mean, I just thought Ezra, what more can I say? They did a great job of bringing humor to the Flash, the desire to the Flash of, I need to do this. I know I'm right. I'm not going to listen to what you're saying. I'm hurting too much, and I need this. I need things to be different. I need to do stuff no matter what may happen. And just, in that mindset that I can do one thing. It's not gonna totally warp everything and change everything, as we know it does from the trailers. But I mean, he definitely did bring layers to the Flash, and especially our Barry, you saw him grow. You could see his growth through the whole film. You could see his coming to terms with the situation he had to deal with. You could see him come to terms with just what he realized and knew ultimately needed to be done. There is one scene I will say, I'm not gonna say what it is, but there's one scene that it got me. Yeah, there was a couple emotional parts, and I will say I didn't cry, but there was especially this one moment that I felt like I had just seen, and it wasn't a bad thing. And the only reason I just felt like I just seen it was again because with the Flash ending on TV, they had done a similar scene at one point recently. But I think Ezra, they did a really good job. If you just set aside all the terrible things they did, everything they did, which I'm not here to talk about that, but if you focus on them in this role, focus on Barry as a character, they did a really good job. And yeah, I mean, I I don't think Ezra's ever going to play the Flash again, but a different timeline, a different situation, I would have no problem with them playing the Flash again. Because yeah, they brought so much to the character and really fleshed him out. It was nice to actually get a I mean, we caught glimpses of the Flash early on. He was in Justice League, but that was it. So to finally get a movie focused on Barry and focused on this character was great. It really allowed Ezra to shine. And yes, they had their moments in Zack Snyder's Justice League, but that's not technically canon to the DC universe. Not that any of this is going to be canon anytime soon, but they really got to shine. And I feel like, I mean, I think one of my favorite parts of the movie is the opening. Just where they just get to shine as an actor. You get to see the Flash in all his glory, in how everybody else sees him before everything starts going off and this huge misadventure happens. And I love the prologue. Or the beginning. I love the introduction. I think it's fantastic. It's a great way to get us into the Flash's world. And at times it doesn't feel maybe as this might not be all the small details that were in Zack Snyder's or in Joss Whedon's Justice League, where we got to see bits and pieces. You know, it might not be as thought out, maybe at times, as those movies were, but this really was focusing more on the character and his inner struggles and his personal battles. And yeah, I thought it was they did a really good job as this character. I know I've said that a lot already, but it's the truth. Now, you do kind of get to have a little bit of fun with him in the Justice League and his role in the Justice League, which I have a hard time buying that part, but it is a lot of fun and it is funny. Real quick with Barry, Iris is in this movie, and which I mean I feel like she needed to be because Iris is the love of Barry's life, whether that be the show or the comics. But I feel like they really dropped the ball with her. I feel like I know she's not the main point of this movie. She was probably in more other parts of other scripts, but I feel like they could have done a little bit more with Iris and really showed us why she and Barry will or should be together. And that's nothing on the actress. I think that's more of a script thing. Um, what else? Oh yeah, okay. Let's move on to Michael Keaton. He's great. Love seeing Michael Keaton back as Batman. Love him in the bat suit. When that theme plays, it's so iconic and feels like you're watching a Batman movie for a little bit. You know, people are saying this is a different Batman from the 98 series, you know, slightly different timeline. I guess I can see that. And it makes sense just for continuity and making things a lot easier. But there's part of me that's like, I want to believe that this is the 98 Batman and this is where he would have ended up, after all the things he'd been through and all that. But yeah, it feels like Michael Keaton really hasn't lost a step. Now, I will say, is this the Bruce from Batman 98? No, it's not. He's definitely older. And there are differences to the character, but the thing is, we as human beings grow and we change. So that's to be expected. If you're going in expecting to see Michael Keaton as Batman the way he was in 98, no, 89. I'm sorry, 89, not 98, 89. Um, then yeah, that's not this Batman. He's older. He's I think the best way to describe it, and somebody did mention this, he's a version of Bruce from Batman Beyond. And yeah, I think Michael Keaton would be great as Batman in a Batman Beyond movie. It just feels like it feels like it makes sense when you see this version of the character. He definitely has some humor. I feel like he might not have as much fun or might not be as humorous as he was at times in the originals. But again, he's a different Bruce, basically. He's aged, he's changed, he's had experiences, but he still looks great. I mean, Michael Keaton still looks great in the bat suit. He can still kick butt. It's just another world where never thought this would happen, but to have him back, some people say that his fight scenes are CG. I'm sure some of them are, but I really think he did a good bit of this action because I've seen some other of his action movies recently that he did, like more recently, and he can still do the action. Then there's Sasha, and I forget what her last name is, who plays Supergirl. I want more Supergirl. I will add my voice to the growing crowd that says we want Sasha to be Supergirl in the Supergirl movie because she's really good. Like, I believed it. She worked as Kara. She looked good in the role. Her development was really quick. That is something that I was kind of like, But I mean, this movie is almost 2.5 hours. But even with that being said, I felt like maybe we could have gotten to Supergirl a little sooner. That way, because the way she joins the team, the way she becomes part of this version or their group to fight Zod. Yes, Zod's in the movie, but that's also in the trailers. I felt like it was rushed a little bit. But then again, that could be if she had her own movie, you could really see her develop as a character, but she doesn't have her own movie. This is the Flash's movie and all that, so you gotta move things along. I get that. But I definitely want to see more of her. And I still want to see more of her as Supergirl. So it would be really nice, and I think it would be really good if James Gunn continued and used her in the Supergirl movie. I, again, will echo, I think we should have had more of her in the movie. But all the side characters I thought were really good. I really liked Barry's mother. She was really impactful for the time she was on screen. And I thought that was key because she is the fundamental reason that Barry does what he does. She's why Barry does what he does. Wait, I think I just repeated myself. Okay, no. She's Barry's everything. And you can make that's very clear in the movie. The one character that I felt was just not really, I don't want to say not good, but I just kind of lost interest in, was Michael Shannon as General Zod. I mean, he's there. But as Michael Shannon has come out and said that he didn't find it as fun as the last time. He was confused by it. And honestly, I get that impression watching the movie from him. So yeah, General Zod, interesting. Cool callback to Man of Steel. There's a lot of interesting callbacks to other movies. other characters, other instances in the DCEU, which were really good. And maybe even some of it is what we call in the comic book business or comic book love, retconning some things. But yeah, overall, I thought the performances, especially the ones that really truly mattered, were really good. Were really entertaining, a lot of fun. The cameos, I'm not going to say who, I'm not going to say anything about them. All I'll say is yes, there's cameos, there's fun moments. If you're a fan of anything DC, or if you're deep dive into DC history, there's a lot of cool Easter egg stuff and a lot of cool cameos in here that I'm sure you're gonna love, and some you might be like, you might hate. But it's just fun to see. It's fun to see these cameos because they don't take away from the movie. They just, in my opinion, they just enhance it. The story, the story works. The story is solid. It makes sense. I can see a lot of moments taken from the Flashpoint comic book. So some of the stuff that happens, I can see, okay, I know that moment is from the comics. I know they changed this, but that's from the comics. Like, I can see the inspiration from the comics. And yeah, sorry, I'm just like trying to think more about the story, but yeah, it just flows. It is a little long. I mean, maybe there were once or twice where I did feel the length, but not overly. I didn't like overly feel like checking my watch. I found myself only thinking about the time when I thought about the time. Meaning, if I just be like, oh, wow, we're here? I wonder how long we've been in. Like, when I legitimately thought about it, that's when I kind of felt it a little bit. Good music. Love hearing themes again. Love hearing the Batman theme. I'm trying to think. The climax of this movie, I wish they'd done a little bit more with it, in the sense that maybe you could have shrunk some things and just made it more climactic. That's all I'm going to say on that. Maybe a little more epicness to it for a superhero movie. The other thing is the whole time travel aspect. I like what they did with it. I thought it was a cool idea, a cool way to visualize it. But it was also confusing because I felt like, okay, this is a little. I mean, maybe I'm not as deep into DC Comics as other people and other fans, so maybe they could explain it. If you've seen the movie, or if you've seen the movie when you get to this review, if you know more about the Flash and how this type of time travel that they do can work, leave a comment, but be nice. Don't be a jerk about it. The other thing I almost forgot that I wanted to mention is I like that this is a Flash origin story, but not in the traditional sense, because we get Barry's backstory. We get an idea of, we know why he's doing what he's doing. You get that part of the origin story, but you get more of his origin without exactly getting his origin. It's given to you in an interesting way that you just can't help but think, oh, I wonder. And so I do like that about it. Sorry, I'm going through everything in my head, making sure I didn't forget anything. Yeah. Yeah, other than that, I think, just in a very broad sense, again, I enjoyed this movie. Thinking about it, there are some things that I'm kind of like, a little iffy on. And I'm like, oh, I wish they maybe could have did this a little bit differently, or maybe they could have done this a little bit differently. But overall, I had a really good time with it. I'm looking forward to seeing it again at some point. I feel like I'll probably see it again on the big screen, unless I just don't get around to it. Obviously. Oh, there is There is a post-credit scene, but I will tell you this. It's not, it's like it's a post-credit scene that's fun, and I definitely recommend staying around to watch it. But if you're craving something that's telling you where we're going to go from here, like Marvel does, or as somebody would say as Marvel did, it's not that type of post-credit scene. I apologize if you find that to be a spoiler, but I don't want you to sit through the movie if you're expecting to have this huge reveal type thing. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on The Flash. Again, had a lot of fun with it, really enjoyed it, and I do recommend it. Where would I put this on my ranking scale? Well, honestly, I think that's pretty easy. It's a superhero. It's a superhero movie, it gets a superhero. No, but in all reality, it's really good. I had a lot of fun with it. Like I said early on, I laughed, I enjoyed myself, I got emotional at times inside. There's a lot of really well done acting moments, a lot of characters, a lot of surprises that at least I didn't think they would do, or things I didn't see coming. And yeah, so I definitely recommend go out and support this movie. Go out and watch it, regardless of how you might feel about circumstances around the movie, because I think the movie is just really good, and I do recommend it. Is it one of the best DCEU films? Yeah, probably it is. I don't know if I would put it as like favorite one, but I probably at this point would get into my top 5. But with all that being said, what do you think? By the time you got into this review, have you seen the movie? If so, what did you think about it? Did you absolutely hate it? Am I totally wrong? Or did you love it more than me? If you haven't seen the movie yet, what are you anticipating it? Have I helped change your mind about going to see it? Or maybe I changed your mind, you're not going to go see it now. But whatever your thoughts, don't forget to comment down below. Hit that subscribe button. I am trying to get to 100 subscribers by the end of the year. If I do, I'm going to try. I don't know what, but I'm going to try to do something for 100 subscribers. Some special video. Again, I'll try, but that would be my goal. Anyway, what are your thoughts? Let me know down below. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And as always, remember, enjoy what you love, read what you love, and let's all work for a better fandom. I'll see you next time.